everybody. How the heck are you all?
Hello.
Good morning.
Oh, there's everybody.
Yay.
Exactly. It's a great day. This is awesome. Anyway, let's hear some good news, y'all. Okay, I'll go.
Sorry.
So I talked with Albie yesterday. Albie's like 5 ahead of me in my line or whatever in Honey Badgers about my book. And he said, make a 45-minute webinar. I'll send you the directions on how to do that. You should do that for yourself anyway and learn how to do that because it's going to be the top of the funnel and get that to us. And they were meeting. I talked to them yesterday morning. They're meeting last night to go over what that's going to look like. The Honey Badger university or thing or whatever that thing is going to be that they haven't announced yet. And I don't know what it's going to look like. So that very cool top secret thing. So there you go. There's my good news.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So I'm having all sorts of challenges this morning with the technology, but Eugenia, you already know my good news. I'm meeting with a colleague tonight who wants to talk about buying before the end of the year. And so I'm excited about that. And I'm meeting with another, oh my gosh, my brain's going blank. Sorry. I'm meeting with another individual this afternoon for my women's financial group regarding, I think I talked to you guys about this before, her DC condo being in a historic condo and she had window issues and stuff. I might have a question for you guys before we jump off.
Cool. Congrats.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Where did your two clients come? Okay, I know where the one came from, the women's group. Where'd the other one come from?
The other one is also from the women's group, interestingly enough, but she's also in higher education. So I've been talking to her about jumping out of the housing department of higher ed in the institution that she works with for a couple of years to get into the DC market. So.
Very good.
Yeah. All right. Let's hear some more good news.
Okay, well, I told Gina yesterday that I had reached out to somebody about possibly forming a partnership or joint venture type thing to do some investment properties. And it's very, very early on, but that it sounds like they're open to it. There's lots to be discussed and whatever, but that's a first step.
I love that because it's the direction you want to build anyway. So it's perfect. Congrats.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Who else has got some good news?
I do. I don't know if you can hear me.
We can hear you and we can see you and you're here. What else is
I
good?
am here, but I'm only here this week because remember I go to Mexico Saturday.
Woo!
Oh, what part of Mexico?
I'm going back to Cancun. I'll be at the Finest, which is part of the Excellence Collection. So it's all inclusive in Playa Mujeres. It's very beautiful. Cannot wait. I was supposed to get married. We were celebrating that that's not happening.
But you're still to celebrate.
So that's part of the good news. No, the good news is that my little family, my lady and her daughters, who I had helped their family buy this house, I listed it. The husband kind of went crazy during COVID and is leaving everybody and doesn't want anything to do with anybody. Anyways, got it listed for him, and she will make around $100,000.
Yay!
Awesome.
Oh, I forgot. It's under contract.
That's a little thing.
I know that kind of
Under contract.
implied, but
Congrats.
anyways, thank you. It's really nice to see everybody.
It's good to see you too. How's your $1 million one going?
Oh my gosh. Never take those. Never take them. They take up too much time. I mean, I literally just drove Uber for 12 hours. I had 30 minutes left on my clock before they were going to kick me off. I said, no, I'm going to meet up with everybody this morning. So I traded my last fare.
Yay. Thank you.
So, no, you're welcome. I do. I really love this group. I'm being a part of it. And I feel like out of all the ones, I get to contribute more to this one than probably others. So I enjoy that.
We love you.
But I love, I mean, everybody in this group has so much to give, and I learned so much from everybody. So
I agree. I really do.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot. I have good news.
Bring it up.
Oh,
So I'm teaching 2 classes on home buyership to 80 people at each time.
Wow.
wow.
Nice.
That's awesome.
I forgot about that. So I was asked to do it for April and May.
I know whatever. It's
happened?
only 60 people, but well, you know, some.
Yeah, you just don't forget about that.
Oh, there's my buddy Craig.
What's up, Trevor?
Hey, buddy, we still haven't chatted. We need to make that happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I got some questions for you too.
Sure, of course. Always here for
Yeah.
you, buddy.
All right.
So,
I have another piece of good news.
Yes.
what's that?
So my buyer of the apartment complex, I'm flying down to either North Carolina or South Carolina next month to make the offer.
Yay.
That's awesome.
That's
Are you
very
gonna
cool.
see Craig while you're out there?
Of course.
Excellent.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
I forgot.
Yeah.
All right. Congratulations. Who's
Mhm. Absolutely.
Well, there's a little bit of stuff going on in Nashville, so you're forgiven.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
It's fine.
yesterday was a shit show.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I
Yeah.
really- When the Uvalde ones happened, I had a girlfriend, one of my first agents over in Virginia, and she grew up and that's the school that she went to. So her whole family is all still down there in that community. She used it to make changes. I don't know. I should talk with her and find out what kind of changes she actually got through in Virginia where her kids are in school. But they immediately put together a board and she was on that board to kind of make some changes up there also. She's in Hampton, Virginia. So right by Norfolk, right by all the military bases. So, who else has got something that they want to share?
This is Kay. I got 2 Zudilio offers on Branch Road. They were very low. I was kind of disappointed,
Right.
but they're offers, they're cash offers. And then I finally got one signed. It's a little lower than what I wanted, so we may counter. So I'm gonna meet with them on that. And
Was that a Zudilio as well?
no, that was one that from my traditional listing.
Mhm.
And I have another one that I'm gonna call the lady that they were debating between that house and another house. So if I could present him 4 offers, that'd be great. But you know, they weren't, you know, the first offer we had, he walked away with like 300, and these cash offers, he'll only walk away with like 268 or 248, and that I don't know if it'll get him into a house he wants. So I did have a funny story I shared with Gina, and I'll tell you that it hasn't come to fruition, but I have a 2004 Jaguar, and I had problems with it, and I took it to the shop during COVID to get it fixed, and they had trouble getting parts for it. So it's been in the shop for going on almost 2 years. So I call and I check, and I call and I check, and I call and I check, and I went by yesterday because you can't get through their phone system. And I guess it was the owner walked out, and then the wife walked out, and she said, we had 3 parts we were waiting for. We got 2, and the third one, you know, we can't find anywhere. And I had told her the last time I was there, well, why don't you find someone and have them make it? You know, find a manufacturer and just have it made. There are people that do that.
Mhm.
And so she told me that they did that, and that they were waiting to have that part. And so I gave her my card, and I said, well, look, as soon as you hear something, you know, would you please give me a call? And she said, oh, you're a realtor. I said, yeah. She said, well, she said, we need to get a new building. I said, well, I can help you with that. I mean, this is a real huge, busy garage. I mean, there's cars everywhere. He said, they won't let us buy this space, and we need a building. I said, fine. I said, talk with your husband. I said, and email me or text me, but I need all your specifications and what your budget is. She said, okay, I'll talk to him tonight and I'll get back to you tomorrow. So I'm hoping I hear from her today, but I thought that was kind of funny.
Nice.
That's
Very,
amazing.
yeah,
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Well,
absolutely.
it's not done yet, but I'd say this is just hilarious. This is funny. 2 years, and now they want to buy a building. If I could get that out of it, it'd be great. And I spent 2 days this weekend at a RIA meeting, and on investing. And, they took us out and we looked at houses and they showed us how they estimate. And they gave me a lot of good forums. I've heard it over and over and over again now from 3 or 4 different sources. But, I realize, if I'm going to do this, I've got to, get off the pot. And then Liz and I are working on our where to get the money now. We're going to put on a seminar May 2nd. So we may need you guys to come to the seminar and give us some feedback.
And support.
Yeah,
Love it. Love it.
it's a webinar. So
Matter of fact, because there's a lot of classes and things like that going on, get it up on the GIA page and then remind us also as soon as Bree, like as soon as you have actual dates and everything, if it's going online and we can get in, let us know so we can pop it into our calendars.
Yeah.
I did a webinar for Ron over at Hoodle, and there were a bunch of our agents, some here, that actually were in that webinar also, and my Toastmasters guy. So one of my best friends
Awesome.
came in too, which is really cool. It really is. So it's
That would
not-
be awesome because I would love your feedback. This is on Jay Connor's program with the private money stuff. So I'd love feedback from this group or
Yeah.
anyone who can attend to kind of give us some information to work with moving forward and what they think.
yeah.
I think it's May 2nd. I guess, are we going to do it at noon?
I'll confirm with Brenda and then I'll put it up on the GIA page so that people know.
Cool.
Okay, good.
Because I don't know that I had the time from her yet either. So that's the other thing I was following up on.
Good.
Cool. Congrats, y'all. That's awesome. You guys are inspiring me hugely too. We'll talk about that later. Or maybe we won't. Well, who knows? Who else do we have here? We have on my board, I have a diagonal. I have Craig, Kimberly, Anna.
And I need help with something, so after we finish,
Okay.
I need help with something.
Okay, cool. Anna, what you got, darling?
Morning, everyone. Good to see you, Trevor. Welcome
Morning,
back.
Anna. Nice to see you
morning.
too.
See you too, bud. Yeah, so for me, I have a friend of mine who was actually thinking about joining the army. She decided against it because they gave her a lot of backlash about her medical records. So she's a realtor. I met her on the field actually. And so she wants to join EXP and she actually wants to partner on a team, like design a team. But I have no idea how to go about it because her strong suits are my weak points. And I would say vice versa. She was licensed earlier than I was, but she definitely doesn't have a lot of stuff under her belt. But she likes showings and things like that, which I hate. I hate just driving around and showing properties. And she hates the negotiation side of things. She loves the busy work, and I can't stand the busy work. Like she loves designing social media stuff, and I suck, and I'm so bad at it. Clearly, by my tally score on the keep the score thing that we're doing. So yeah, I'm trying to think of how we could structure something that would be beneficial to both of us and that would be fair to both of us. But yeah, I'm super excited.
That's
That's great.
awesome. That sounds like a really good match for you personally, because
I think so.
yeah. One thing I see people do, a couple mistakes, but one of them is where they find their exact same person and then they join a partnership.
Uh-huh.
That's not gonna work. And another one
Mhm.
where they don't realize that, I don't know how to word this. One person is extremely go-getter and everything else, and the other one is massively passive. And that works on a team type of a level, can work, but as a partnership, a lot of times that does not work because it ends up feeling very
That's what I'm afraid of. That's what
Yeah.
I'm afraid of with this, to be honest, because
Mhm.
I'm more of like, okay, what's next? Let's get the ball rolling. And she's very okay with not having anything come through. So that's why I'm having hesitations. So I don't know if we should do like a partnership structure or a team structure like Shastine was talking about yesterday. Her showing agent / the girl who was doing the admin work,
admin
I
slash.
thought might actually be like a perfect structure for us. But
Yeah, that was an,
I just,
yeah. Go ahead.
that was an interesting way, right? And I want
Really
to talk to you, Gina, because I don't know what else is done in the industry.
Yeah. We'll dig into this because this, well, one, it's my passion, and two, it's you, and three, of course. So, but yeah,
Thank you, love.
welcome. It was interesting the way that she structured that to make it work, which I liked also. And I've
Mhm.
been a proponent against doing that mix, that admin agent mix. I'm like, don't do that. Here's why. But she did it in an interesting way that works. So, all right, cool. You made it work. That's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. I just don't know if like she paid her separately for the admin work, or if she just getting
Yeah, it was
getting
separate.
compensated for the showings.
It was separate for the admin work. So that gave her, which that was the, yeah, it was separate. She said that in there. She said I had to clock out and then clock on.
Okay.
I was like, okay, interesting. So,
Okay.
cool beans. All right. Let me know when you want to talk. So, Craig or Kimberly, who we got?
Okay, good morning, everyone. Trevor, it's nice to meet you. Okay, so
Kimber, you
let's
got
see. When I
muted.
first started, oh,
There you go.
okay. Okay, so when I first started, I was just terrified of the whole real estate thing, talking to people, just doing the whole, just being involved with people. But now I have renters that I'm working with, and I am like more open to reaching out to agents. The conversation is flowing, and I just feel more confident walking into it. So I'm very thankful for that.
Love that. I love that because you don't have the confidence before. You have to just sort of muster up whatever you basically do it
Exactly.
in fear. And you did it in fear, and now you're getting the confidence. And that's the way it always works. It always works
Mhm.
opposite. Unless maybe you're a sociopath or something, and then you know.
No.
You're a nice, regular human being. It's like, it's new. It's cool. So congrats on that one. It's a big one.
Thank you.
Welcome. All right, Craig. You're
All
my
right.
last holdout. How was your,
Cool.
where did you go? You went to Philly?
Yeah, I went to Philly.
Okay.
Yeah. So went to Philly this weekend. Me and my son, we were going to Delaware to my daughter's baby shower, and we got rained out in Philly. I'm sorry, it stormed in Atlanta. So we were supposed to leave the airport in Greenville, Spartanburg at 6:30 Saturday morning, get in Philly at 11, had a rental car ready. So with the storm, they grounded all the flights. We didn't get to Atlanta until about 8:30. So we missed that
Yeah.
flight. We had to stay in the airport a couple of hours. They flew us to Orlando. We stayed in the Orlando airport for 3 hours, and then we finally flew to Philly. By the time we got to Philly, it was 6:45 that evening. So we missed the baby shower. I didn't get to see my daughter.
Oh, no.
You know, that was a whole debacle. Her mom's an asshole. So you know, I was kind of bummed out, but I didn't want my son to see it. So you know, and I ended up getting another car through Avis, and because the rental car place that I had rented from, they closed at 4, so ended up getting another rental car through Avis, $14 more, and so it worked out good. So we hung out with the in-laws, his grandparents. I took him to the old neighborhood where I used to live, and he met my neighbors, my old neighbors, and you know, they told him how much they love me and all of that stuff. And we just hung around, showed him the city, and we walked around on Drexel University campus. And he loved it, and now he's telling his mom that he wants to go to Drexel for college.
Ah,
Yeah. So
That's
we'll see.
awesome.
Yeah, we'll see.
that
But,
is very awesome. How old's your son, sweetie?
he'll be 16 next month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good age to be talking about uni. So nice.
Yeah. The first time he and I had taken a trip together alone. So he really enjoyed it. I think we're gonna do it again more often.
Whenever I only had 2 kids, thank God, because It's all I could handle. But whenever one of them like was just, they seemed to switch off where one would be just like really bugging me for a while, you know, minor, major, whatever, but just acting up. And when it got to where I was like, okay, I can't stand
How's it
this
going?
child. I can't stand this child anymore. I would take that child and we would just spend a whole entire day alone going and doing something. It could be anything. It could be going on a trip, could be just the two of
Oh,
us.
sure.
You know. And it always,
Thanks.
it just poured
I
a lot of love.
appreciate it. What's up, buddy?
Just switch them
How are you?
around and get them back in,
My
you
man.
know what I mean? And then the next one would start in and so it was this constant thing between one and the other. But enough of me. Bree, you had some stuff you want to talk about. And you're muted and we love you.
There we go. Yes. So in my presentation, they've request for the buyers,
Mhm.
you know, they would like for me to do a walkthrough. Like as and embedded in the PowerPoint presentation.
Mhm.
So and most of these are, well, all of them are first time home buyers. They're getting off of subsidized housing.
Okay.
And they have an amazing opportunity to have like up to $30,000-$40,000 in escrow to help them purchase.
Mhm.
Now the price point. So I'm wondering which homes I should tour. Like more than likely they're going to, you know, be entry level homes. So should I tour homes that they are more likely to move into? And when I do that, should I tour the neighborhood too? Or just stick to inside of the home?
Bree, what I would do, I would choose 3 price points.
Mhm.
I would choose a bit below market, market value, and then just on the higher range as well. If their subsidies would cover that higher price range, but I
Yes.
would cover 3 different price points. And that will be a good point of trying to show the price differences and what each range would be able to get them. That's the approach I'm using for YouTube, at least. I don't know if that would be similar, but if I were a home buyer and you don't know what my specific target criteria is, I'd want to see 3 different options, I think. And you can actually, if they're like new build communities, you might want to go over a community information sheet with them as well, and just be like, as you're, you know, shopping around, these are the things you should keep in mind. You know, track the tax rates, the HOA fees. All of these will impact your final affordability and your buying power. So I would highlight, you know, things to keep in mind. Like here in San Antonio and Austin, we have MUDs that could really drastically alter your affordability of any given price range. Like if a community has a MUD tacked onto it, your tax rate just hikes up through the roof oftentimes, and can result in you not being able to purchase within that range. So you'd have to buy down. But I would discuss things like that, you know, kind of loopholes and things to watch out for, factors. And I would go through 3 different, or at least 2 different price points, just to show them, you know, what each price range would be able to get them.
Ooh, I love it. And I love the community fact sheet too.
I was thinking the same thing.
You know, like things that, you know, things to watch out for, and I can actually show them.
Mhm.
And you can throw in checklists for those things too. So
Mhm.
they have something hands-on.
Ooh, and I can
And
tell,
another thing,
drop me your
go
email
ahead.
and I'll forward you the checklist.
There you go. Bam. You
And
want to
that way I can go ahead and get their contact information.
get a QR code made and just have them snap a QR code.
Perfect.
It's so easy because once you have the QR code, it goes straight to a form with it, put in all their information, and then you can have the fact sheet. It goes straight out to them. I believe you can dump that straight into KV Core. Tagged.
Where do you go to get a QR code? Because that's on my list to do.
There might be something in KV Core that I don't know about. I just Google QR codes. I know you can do it in Canva. If you
You can
Google,
do it in Microsoft Word too.
yeah, free QR code. There's a bunch of different ones up there.
Okay, thank you.
Just, yeah. My idea is to have part of the conversation. as you're looking at some of the houses, which might not be pretty, to address that up front. These might not be pretty. What we want to do is get you into anything. And maybe we can think about things. I want you to think about things of what you need right now, but also the neighborhood that might be good for a rental in 5 years, because this is the start to you building your wealth. So don't look at it as, as I want my dream home. I want you to look at it as your dream life. And this is your step.
Oh, I like that.
Now, if I could wordsmith my own stuff.
Right. Thank you, Gina, Anna,
Welcome.
everybody, Kathy.
Yep. Yep. Anything else you guys have?
Well, I would just say I really like the RPR reports and showing them what all they go through in terms of the community and, the trend lines and crime rates, walkability, livability. I think they have good reports.
That's really good. Those are very those are
Okay.
perfect for presenting, because they're glossy, they're slick, they're, you know what I mean? It's all that.
Right.
Yeah, it's good.
Totally. I would also walk them through how to run their PITI calculations, maybe include a link to a calculator where they'd be able to run, estimates of what they might be looking at with each price range and so on and so forth.
Oh, that's
Okay.
very good. Front end and back end ratios too. What the difference is.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then
Well,
how
you
to
don't want to
calculate.
overwhelm them. I don't know.
Ooh,
Sometimes
I
you
have
get
an
into the math.
hour, and I make my PowerPoints very,
Generic.
yeah.
yeah. And then any other things that you think are really good, those are your freebies to get their information.
Right. Like these are things that I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, I know it's a lot, but here's my email or drop your tech information in the chat.
Yep. And then boom, 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 and you've got it all. Yeah. Yep. Think outside the box for them also, because if they're coming in at the lower price points, I know that's really helpful. Like sometimes you can't find something in the range you want, but if you're, does the loan allow them to, like, how strict are the criteria? The FHA strict?
No. So
Okay,
most
good.
of the loans are portfolio loans from the bank, so they're conventional.
Perfect. So a lot of times in that lower price point, if you can't find what you're looking for, people are like, oh, I got to squeeze up. But sometimes you can actually go down and you can start looking at 2 bedrooms with a garage that I can convert to the
Right.
3rd bedroom, all that kind of stuff. So teach them to think outside of their boxes.
Okay. Okay.
Would any of them work with rental loans attached to all that so that they could get to a certain point and address those kinds of issues?
What do you mean?
Well, like
403Ks, 40, is that what it is? 404? God, I haven't done this in a long.
403B or something, I don't know. It's
I think it's a 203B, maybe.
yeah,
I
okay.
don't know.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
What are the numbers?
I know it's got part of it.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, it's a loan where you need the property to get to a certain spot, and then it pays for those things, and at the end you're gonna put
Oh,
it all
like
together.
stuff like that. So they can do that if they qualify for it.
Mhm.
203B.
Yes, but so they can.
Okay,
can.
well, that's just another option when you're looking at those properties that are lower end that you
Need some help.
think out of the box.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks, Liz, for knowing what our alphabets and numbers were, since we were all.
It just popped into my mind. Trust me, it wasn't like I'm like 403B just didn't sound right. It sounded like nonprofit. That's why I was like, well, maybe I don't know if that was right. And I think nonprofit was actually 5 something, but I knew it was a lower number. That's all I remembered.
Yeah. Yeah. Whatever
Yeah.
between all of us
Collectively, we did great.
Teamwork, yay.
Exactly.
You guys doing all these classes are really encouraging me, because I'm in Toastmasters, and Toastmasters is this thing where they go around to other businesses and they teach them on a 8-week program where they teach them how to speak. And I've been debating starting up another Toastmasters group here locally in my area and what that might look like. And I think going into real estate companies because that's an easy one for me to do, to get people into this class, from this class, then into Toastmasters, from there over to EXP might be a good avenue for me. So I'm gonna let that one rumble around the back of my head for a little bit. I think I kind of like that.
Yeah. So last night was a good class. I really enjoyed listening to Chastain, Betty, and the other guy, talking about their different business models and, what they like to do. And, Chastain really had I related to all of them because the guy, he was talking about, he's an introvert and what he did to, come out of that and succeed in his business. Chastain, the different model that she did with the referrals and stuff. And, I sort of talked to you about something similar. But what I really, who I really resonated with the most was Betty Kappa.
Mm-hmm.
And talking about how she didn't like the residential side. And I think that I'm gonna go more after the commercial side. I just don't like I don't like the hustle and bustle with the residential and the emotions, the emotional part. So I think I resonate more with the commercial. I mean, I won't just, of course, just go over the commercial, but I gotta find a way to make this thing fun, and I think that's gonna be it.
Well,
Yeah, I think that's a good match for you. I really do.
I just
so
want to say,
Craig, we should keep each other accountable or share or, well, actually just really just encourage each other, because that's where I want to go as well for many of the same reasons. So are you working with Tim?
No.
Yeah. No. Is anybody in here working with Tim?
I'm
Tim,
calling him, Tim Luke.
Luke.
Tim Luke.
Yeah, I'm gonna call him and if he gets his deal put together, I may get into that because I got to thinking about what I like to do and what I don't like to do. And, I like a fast close. I mean, it just,
Yeah, don't we all?
how long it takes. I told Gina yesterday, I said, what I really haven't factored in is how much time I'm putting into this stuff and what my return on my time is. And I've got to fix that.
well,
Correct.
I don't know that I heard of Tim Lug, but I will, and I wasn't able to be on the call last night, but I will say in just my conversations with Betty Kappa with my land transaction, I was hands down like all in with her and what she's doing, because when I started I didn't get my license until after pursuing investments in the commercial space. I don't like drama. I like that it's a business transaction. I know it takes longer to the finish line. It's more like a marathon than a sprint, but it just, it rings with me so much more. So I will go back and listen to that for sure as I continue to have my conversations with Betty. But that is what I know for sure in terms of between residential and I can do both. I just prefer to do, if I'm going to do residential, I prefer to do just the transactional based investor ones that they're looking at it as a business transaction and let's go. Because the drama and energy sometimes that comes up on the other side is a little too much for me to balance and bear. So
yeah, because I think like I was telling Gina on last week when we talked, I think that I will get leads, divvy them out to agents, and I can pick and choose the ones that I want to work myself, but I'm not particularly good at, I guess, following up and, keeping the leads when, some people like Bree's good at nurturing the leads. I'm not good at nurturing them. I kind of just fall out after a while, so if I can get a good agent that, loves to do that stuff, and I know of a few that do, all agents, they want leads. So, I think I just really need to go and, well, I know I do. I need to go and explore that, put it together, really plan out how I'm gonna do it, and focus on what I want to go after, within the commercial markets and the resident multi-family and all of that stuff. So
yeah, and in the commercial market, the sector matters. Like what draws me into it is, I'm either in apartments, multifamily, or actually with my stint in retail commercial, it's intriguing to me, although there's a little too much drama going on there right now too, but that's another space that kind of opened up.
Okay.
Interesting. My husband talked to me a week ago or whatever, and I said, well, he's always talked about real estate. I'm like, you're gonna hate it because he's not. Drama and Greg are the antithesis of each other, and I'm like,
not a bad thing.
yeah, no, not a bad thing. A good match for me. I'm like, you're not gonna like it. I'm telling you, like, rethink this because, and also he watched me do real estate, and all the time he was like, if I had to do what you do, I'd shoot myself right now. And I'm like, well, that's probably a good reason why you don't do it. But he's always talked about it. He's still interested. And the other day after I went to the rally in Orlando, I came home and I'm like, so if you're thinking about real estate, so it was a week and a day ago, if you're thinking about real estate, you should consider commercial. And that's when he went.
I'm well. How are you?
Went off in both of us with, yeah, that is what the direction that if he wants to go real estate. So I called up Gary and I'm like, you cool with chatting with Greg? And who's gone right now this entire week. And he's like, you're Greg? Yeah. So I don't know. He might do it, but he would be a good fit. I'd love to see a commercial, like, I know Gary has a commercial group, but I'd like to see, yeah, that might be good. I might hook him in. We'll see. We'll see if he actually wants to do it or not. When he gets home, we'll chat.
You'll work him down to that tiny, tiny little why. Does he want it?
I can't, you know what he says every time I try and get him to the why? He says the same thing every time. He goes, well, I want to make money. And I usually everybody else that I say that, I'm like, there's something underneath the money. And you dig and dig and dig and dig and dig. And with my husband, he's just like, no, just want to make the money. There's something under
Then maybe part of the process, what part of that process intrigues him to want to do that?
So for him, the interesting thing, what he loves is he's a wheeler and dealer. That's what he likes doing. And he deals in autographs, and he used to deal in some collectibles, more autographs now. And he used to deal in like props and costumes and that kind of stuff, a little bit still, but not very much. And higher ticket items. And that's what he loves. And for him, it really is that's all combined in together. It's the wheeling and the dealing and the making the money, which I'm like, all right. And I mean, I've never met anybody else that is the primary thing underneath it. That's what they love, right? But that really is what he loves. I'm like, you'd be a good match with commercial. That's what it's about.
So maybe his sweet spot is, in retail in the sense of entertainment venues for community development. Like I'm in it for community development. I like the whole community development aspect of it, and living in residential and retail type communities that are like more than just the single family housing footprint. So maybe his spot is the retail sector, but looking at the businesses that do entertainment type or art type.
Oh, I can see that. I can see them
businesses.
going, yeah, for collectible shops and people who have things like that also for things.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, venues, because he works a lot in that world. I mean, he's in Richmond. He was in Richmond doing a big, huge show up there over the weekend. Anyway, interesting. I'll toss those ideas at him. Thank you, guys.
I have one quick thing to throw out if people have time. If they don't, I will circle back on this, I'm sure, tomorrow, but I'm just trying to, can I throw it out for just a second, or does somebody else have something they wanted to?
I think you took the table or the floor.
Oh,
sweetie.
sorry.
No, go.
Didn't mean to grab.
Good.
So with this property in downtown DC that I'll be talking with my friend about this afternoon, it's a historic property in DC. Windows needed to be replaced because water was coming in through the frames. They were original windows. Mold, she pinged me yesterday saying that now she needs to address the mold, which kind of concerned me because my thought was mold should be addressed before window replacements. Am I wrong? Or does it matter?
I think you have to simultaneous, because you've got to stop the source first and then go after the problem. But going after the source also may expose, like if it's coming in through the windows, it may have run down and through. And as you're replacing the windows, that's when you'll be able to get in there and see all the rest of it also. So I think,
That's what I understand happened, is it was coming in. I mean, I'm just going off my notes from the last time we spoke, which was probably last fall.
Mhm.
My understanding was it was coming in through the windows. They noticed water stains along the windows, but also along the roof from the windows wall in through the main living area to the kitchen. Because
Mhm.
it's a double, it's a 2-tier townhouse duplex type structure in DC. So I had told her at that time that she'd probably need to address the mold and the windows at the same time to have it all done. But in her text yesterday, she said she finally got the windows replaced and now she needs to address the mold, which raised me a little red flag. Like, now you're addressing the mold. And I just don't know if I should be asking her, like, I'm obviously going to ask her the order of operations if the windows have been done and, you know, what she's seeing or what she thinks needs to still be addressed. But is there anything else I need to kind of bring to her attention, maybe?
The only thing I can think of, and I don't even know if it's an issue anymore, they have a thing called a moisture meter. Do you know what that is?
No.
It's this cool little thing that they can just stick on the wall or wherever, and they can tell like the moisture is really high here. So like if you have a problem, so we had a problem where we didn't know in my condo if it was the roof, the neighbor, it was a neighbor, or the window, who he blamed me, it was not. And this guy just literally took this thing and ran on the wall and said the water's coming from here and it's going right along this path and it's going like this and down like that, not from your window. It's coming from the roof because it can read the moisture.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
true. We found a leak in one of my listings like that. It was from the shower. Found out that the shower pan was cracked and it was allowing water to get through. Because we wasn't seeing any water, but when the inspector came out, you know, he found it with one of those. But with the mold, Liz, yeah, they definitely should have addressed it when they did the windows. Depending on how it was, you know, that was definitely the right time to try to trace the mold, because sometimes it's just around the windows and it doesn't travel because of the way the framing of the windows is. So it doesn't really travel past there. But depending on if it was getting moisture or water past that barrier, then yeah, it could be some problems behind the wall. But I just replaced my windows, and we were thinking that it could have been a mold problem. But once the windows were taken out and we, you know, inspected the area, cleaned it up, it really wasn't any mold past that area. It was just that the windows had failed, and it was mold around, you know, some of the windows because of that moisture and stuff.
Okay.
right.
Okay. But at any rate, if there's mold there, they would need to take the windows back out to see what's going on, right?
Could be.
Yeah.
It's a
But
possibility.
not necessarily though.
You could punch a hole in the drywall, depending on what the moisture meter shows also, to see what's underneath there without having to remove the whole window. You know, it just,
Okay. I'll just ask her what's been done and what's kind of going on to get a better idea of what she's kind of trying to address right now. I'm hoping they addressed it when they replaced her windows for her, but I can't be sure. And I'd hate for her to have to, well, she's gonna have to do whatever she has to do, but if the windows have to come back out to address a mold issue that should have been addressed when they did the windows, then they should have, you know, she should have been able to get that information from, you
right.
know, before they did that. Anyway, okay, that'll help me, you know, just start opening up some questions for her and you have the conversation this afternoon. So I appreciate all of you as always.
Yeah, and if it was just one of those companies that do windows, or like you know, Lowe's that come out and they just install the windows, they wouldn't have told them.
Okay.
You know,
They wouldn't
if
have
it
even
was
known.
yeah, if it was a contractor, general contractor that did the windows, they would be more likely to let her know about the mold. But most of the times you get like here we have Window World, and then you got Lowe's that specialize in the windows, and they just come out and take the windows out. They're trying to get it done as fast as possible. They don't really tell you about any issues unless you got rotting framing or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, and I could be wrong, but I don't think I agree with what Gina said, that you've got to stop that moisture from happening. And I don't think that the window necessarily has to be back out. It
Mhm.
depends on whether or not they stop the water coming in, and that moisture meter would tell. If it's coming from somewhere else, or they didn't seal it up properly when they did the windows and get the right kind of flashing and stuff to stop everything,
Mhm.
then yeah, they're probably going to need to pull those windows. But I think there's other ways they can deal with it.
Okay, wonderful.
Is it just in one location or is it in several locations?
It's actually, she had to replace 8 windows at the end of the day because they're 2-level. So it's duplex setup, but each unit on each side has 2 levels to it.
Mhm.
So one side of the building was affected. And
So there were 8 places where there was moisture coming in?
there was 8 windows that got replaced overall. And I think there was 2 of them predominantly on the side that faces the street
The
versus the
weather
front.
side?
Yeah, that showed water damage around the windows, down that wall, and then into the living area space, like the living room area heading towards the kitchen on that floor.
Yeah, yeah, I'm trying to figure out if it's in the walls or, where, or if it's coming down something, but
Yeah,
the moisture meter is the way to go. And then I had a situation very similar, and they just cut out the sheetrock underneath and repaired everything underneath where the mold had grown, and killed the mold, and then cut it back up, and the windows didn't have to come out at all. But you got a lot of places, you just got to see what the moisture meter says. Yeah.
Where does this moisture meter come from? Is it just something we can pick up, or does it
hope-
have?
A home
Sure, Phyllis.
inspector, a good home inspector would have one. And I don't know if you can buy them
can.
anywhere.
I'm
you
sure
can buy them
can.
on Amazon, Lowe's, or whatever. You just want to get them. Yeah, they're not that much money. I don't know a good one from a bad one.
Mhm.
If you have any contractor friends, you can ask to borrow theirs. Especially when because a lot of times you'll think the leak is the window, but what's
Mhm.
happening is it's a roof leak and it's running down, and there happens to be an opening because water will take the fastest, easiest path it can, and there's an opening underneath the window that it can come out. So
Mhm.
it mocks that that's not the right word that I want. It mimics a window leak when really it's a roof leak.
Yeah,
Got it.
that's true.
Okay. Okay.
And
Good
there's
information.
some,
And to answer your question, Kathy, yes, it is a historic property in DC, which has been all the more lovelier in terms of cost in
Mhm.
replacing those windows.
Yeah.
True to period, everything true to period.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
There's also, and I'm sorry, but I can't think of what it's called. Maybe one of you do know what it is. I want to say it's an ozone machine,
Oh, yeah.
and that can help with mold remediation as well.
Okay.
There's specific processes and all that too, but that might be an option.
Okay. Wonderful.
Right. We had to have ozone machines, and we also had to have big, huge fans in our house, and you can't use heat because heat makes it worse. So it has to be just room temperature air. And then they had to cut out huge sections of my condo of sheetrock and everything around my bathroom. I have a new bathroom out of it, basically. Bathroom and then my
Nice.
window. Yeah, and the neighbor paid for it, who hated my guts, and that's okay because I wasn't responding either. So, I'm good with that. Yeah, exactly. All right, y'all. Is there anything else? All right, then I'm going to throw my echoes out that everybody else says about how much I adore you guys. It is, I know the feeling's mutual all the way around. You encourage me, and I'm just glad I'm just glad we do this. That you guys are my best cup of coffee every Tuesday through Friday.
Well, I just want to thank you for creating the space for us to do this, Gina. This is awesome.
Thank you.
And I really, really love how we get to watch how we're all developing in different ways
Mhm.
and expanding. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because we're all completely unique. you know?
And it's very helpful for me as well. I love it so much. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome.
Aw.
We're glad you're here.
You have a dozen people underneath you like, fly, Kimberly, fly. You really do.
And I'm excited and ready to go. So let's do it.
You got it, honey. All right, y'all. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you mañana.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
guys.
Bye. Love you guys.
More.